error in the Inertial Navigation System, INS, set it on a course that would lead to disaster. The INS error caused the aircraft to deviate from its intended flight path, gradually veering off course and entering Soviet airspace. This deviation went unnoticed by the flight crew, who were unaware that they were flying into one of the most heavily guarded and sensitive areas of the Soviet Union. The plane's entry into Soviet airspace set off alarms within the Soviet military, who were already on high alert due to ongoing tensions with the United States. The Soviet Union, suspecting that the aircraft might be a U.S. spy plane, scrambled fighter jets to intercept it. The pilots of the Su-15 and MiG-23 fighter jets were given orders to identify and, if necessary, shoot down the intruding aircraft. The situation was further complicated by the fact that a U.S. reconnaissance plane was also in the area, adding to the confusion and suspicion. As the Soviet fighter jets approached Kal 007, they attempted to communicate with the aircraft, but their signals went unanswered. The pilots of the Boeing 747 were likely unaware of the presence of the fighter jets, as they were flying at night and the jets were not visible. The Soviet pilots, interpreting the lack of response as a hostile act, received orders to engage the target. The decision to shoot down the aircraft was made at the highest levels of the Soviet military command. The Su-15 pilot, following orders, launched 2 air-to-air missiles at the Boeing 747. The missiles struck the aircraft, causing catastrophic damage. The plane began to break apart in mid-air, and within minutes it crashed into the Sea of Japan near Monoran Island. The immediate aftermath of the shootdown was marked by confusion and disbelief. The Soviet Union initially denied any involvement, claiming that they had no knowledge of the incident. However, as evidence began to emerge, it became clear that the Soviet military had indeed shot down the civilian airliner. The international community was outraged, and the incident quickly became a major diplomatic crisis. The United States, led by President Ronald Reagan, condemned the shootdown in the strongest possible terms. Reagan described the incident as a massacre and a crime against humanity. The U.S. government demanded a full investigation and accountability for the 269 lives lost. The Soviet Union, facing intense international pressure, eventually admitted to the shootdown but maintained that it was a tragic mistake. The Kal 007 incident had far-reaching consequences beyond the immediate loss of life. It highlighted the dangers of the Cold War and the potential for misunderstandings to escalate into full-blown conflicts. The incident also led to significant changes in international aviation regulations and practices. One of the most notable changes was the decision by the United States to make the Global Positioning System, GPS, available for civilian use. The introduction of GPS technology